Hello.
Hello.
I'm gonna open this episode by saying, petition to cut this episode a bit shorter because it's fucking hot in my room.
Same here. Although I've been in my room the entire day, so I don't really care about the temps.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Because yeah, welcome to 37 degrees.
Yeah.
How much is that in dumb American units?
Not important.
Now I'm curious. That is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That we are currently sitting in.
I see.
And yeah. But yeah. If you don't want these temperatures, may I recommend starting to care about the climate? I'm not gonna have this rant again, because, well, I had it in a previous episode. Just a short version of it. Care about the fucking climate or we're probably gonna be dead.
Yeah, well.
I'd rather live, even if that means, eating less meat. If you can do proper vegetarian dishes, they can be incredible. But there are just a lot of them that are bad. Because for some reason, they think, oh, there's no meat in it? Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to include flavor. Just turning into a rant for the climate to a rant about vegetarian food. Which in my opinion is completely justified.
So, I had news to talk about, and now suddenly I don't.
Why?
Because now I'm blacking out for some reason.
Hmm.
Probably
Well,
the heat, actually.
Well, I do have some other news that is a little bit more personal news, but is regarding to yesterday. When you were basically asking, almost begging me to finally make one phone call.
I wasn't.
No, Jordan was. And surprisingly, I got a response. Why is there a person walking on the fucking tracks? Never mind. But I got a call. Or at least first I got a WhatsApp message, then I got a call about, a job opportunity. And I had the phone call, answered some questions, which means that they are going to be calling around for companies, and I'll hear from them soon for a possible, position.
Nice.
Turns out going through a recruitment agency can be nice. And the reason I didn't get a response is because apparently they were busy. Which I'm starting to believe those excuses less and less.
Yeah, I suppose
Because,
that's fair.
like, I can get it if it's busy, your response times will increase. But they said that they would get to me within 3 business days. I got that email last week on Monday. So not
Yeah.
including Monday, I had it took 6 work days to finally get to me. It was an automated message that said 3 days, but still.
Well,
Hey, I might have a job.
you know.
Otherwise, I can also become a train driver because because they had some because they went on strike, and now the pay is actually decent. Although you do have a little bit of a problem with
Alright, that,
you will
yeah.
not have a schedule.
That's what I wanted to talk about. I got scammed. I still feel scammed. That a
Why? Did you go
fucking,
by train?
that a fucking supermarket person can make more money than me.
Yeah. Yeah, it turns out if you actually want to have a sustainable job, you have to look at the money and the position, not just the position. My mom also finds it slightly annoying that I keep looking at the job, like at the pay that they give. But if you're gonna give the minimum amount of money, you will not get people to apply for your job. You
Well,
have to give
yeah.
above the minimum. Because if there's another position open, like the same position but pays more, guess where people are gonna go? Also, that's also a point that I saw, which was talking about the pay gap between men and women.
Right.
And
Actually, yeah, we can talk about that today. That's I have some interesting stuff to say about that.
they make some sense. Like if women were truly paid less than men, then why are men still employed? Every company with a competent CEO would think, we can hire a different person with the same set of skills. They would do the exact same job. We can pay them less.
So, the
Guess what the company's gonna
situation,
do?
the situation here in the Netherlands is pretty interesting, actually, surrounding that. Because it is half a lie that that's a thing here. So, by law, men and women should get the same amount of money for the same job, alright?
Yes.
But, so first up, that's already where the misconceptions start, because, women are usually more interested in things like art and like,
Things that pay less,
vets and stuff.
basically.
Yeah, so they usually make less money on that already than a man. But if a man did the same job, they would get the same amount.
Yes.
The thing where it actually starts is when you get a promotion. Because when you get promotions, you get more money, but you can negotiate over that. And on average, men are better negotiators, or not necessarily better negotiators, but better at convincing people.
Pay me more or I'm gone.
I don't know exactly, but
That's a valid threat you could do. And if you have a company that relies on you, I would highly recommend you do that. because the because then they have a choice. They either let you go, you find a higher paying job. Well, you do have to actually have a higher paying job lined up already, or at least close to ready, so you can. So if they actually let you go, you can actually go to a higher paying job, kind of
yeah.
smoothly. But they can choose that option, or they actually pay you what you want, which means that you get paid more. Of course, don't push it too far. You don't want to bankrupt the company because then you are out of work. But if you have the chance to do it and you prepare it properly, you're basically guaranteed to have more money.
Yeah. So
And also,
there's that.
yeah.
Um,
And also the thing with women is if they are basic, w- women have periods for a period of
yeah,
time.
yeah, that's the other thing indeed.
That means that if it's actually bad, they will be sick for that entire week. And employees or employers don't really like it when they have a potential employee which is guaranteed to be sick 13 weeks of the year.
Well,
If you take it at exactly 4 weeks over a 52-week period.
I mean,
That
that
is
is
13
quite
weeks.
rare, though, that it's actually that
That is
bad.
quite rare, but you
But,
will have more, probably more sick leave due to the fact that you do have
yeah.
periods to deal with. And I have seen somewhere a post that they want to give, basically ask, demanding that women have time off if they're on their period, but that would really stop women from getting any job.
Yeah, so that's kind of the other thing, right? Like, if you're a company, so okay, so there's people that are advocating for like a what did you call it? Like a quota, basically, where you as a company you have to have a certain amount of women hired. Um, thing with that is, uh, first up, that already discriminates because that means that if you don't have that amount of women, you gotta either hire someone and decline someone else for their gender, which is discrimination, or you gotta fire people for their gender, which is discrimination. So already it's just not legally possible. But then on top of that, it would damage a company because they suddenly have to hire, like, because imagine this, right? You're a company. You need one more person. And two people apply. A man and a woman. And the man has worked in the sector for like 7 years. He has done some pretty big things. He has the correct education. He's basically perfect for the job, right? And the woman does this for the first time and kind of just want to try it out. And on top of that, she is pregnant for like a couple months and is gonna have her, like as a woman, you get like near the end of your pregnancy, near the,
Maternity leave.
yeah, you get a few months off, I think.
Yeah.
So then, as a company, it only makes sense in that situation to hire the man. But if there's a quota, then suddenly you have to hire the woman who is just less qualified in that situation.
Yeah, you basically be sacrificing a lot of money just because you have to go for equality, even though you are
Well, at that
basically
point, it's not equality anymore,
discriminating
though.
against men for being men. It's gonna switch the other way, and that's something that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It's just that you have to look at skill, you have to look at experience, you have to look at reliability. A company needs money to stay afloat. It cannot just say, we'll hire everybody that
Some
comes
do.
in.
Some do.
Yeah, like grocery stores, but the grocery store my sister works at is
Oh,
fully
not
booked.
just grocery stores.
And that is because they have a huge labor shortage. And so
There
they're basically
is.
hiring anybody that comes in, but they get a bunch of people that don't do anything. They're just there for the money. They are really just not doing their jobs and costing the company even more. Because a bad employee costs more than their salary. Because they're wasting resources as well. So you're wasting not only the pay, because nothing's happening, but the resources that are being wasted by the person that's not working, which means you're gonna get a mess. Companies don't want that, so they're gonna go for more competent people. If that means that it's gonna, and also in some sectors there are just no women available.
Mm-hmm.
Like take a look at like heavy construction. How many women do you see there? Sure, you
So,
can advocate for more women there, but if they don't want to do that job, then then there are no women. Then you're gonna have a lot of positions open if you have that quota that they have to make. You're gonna end up with like a lot of empty positions, and once again, that will cost the company basically everything. That means you can't grow because, well, we don't have the position because we don't have enough people.
yeah.
So if you, so here it's pretty much you have the you have the equal opportunity as a man or a woman. We saw that with our engineering course. We're in a class with like between 20 and 25, like like the amount of people.
Yeah.
One woman.
Yeah. Oh,
You
granted,
already
in the
see
end,
the
was one of the few who made it.
well, pretty much all. I think almost all of our class made it.
Well, not if you count over the 4 years.
Yeah, over the
Everyone who
4
was,
years,
I think most who were still in there in the final year were there. Yeah, but
it's basically like with the first 2 years. That's when people dropped off because they either didn't like it or didn't have the motivation. They just dropped off.
yeah,
So then, during the third and fourth year, nothing changed. The class size didn't change. Nobody got added. Nobody got removed. It remained the same.
yeah,
And I think pretty much all of us graduated, which is nice. But also the amount of people over two classes, like mechanical engineering and electrical engineering, like we both graduated at the same time because those courses run parallel to each other.
yeah.
53 people in 1 year. That is not enough to keep that sector afloat. Of course, it's only at one level, so you still have higher levels, or you probably have more engineers. But it's still a little bit, you know, you have a small amount of people graduating, and all of them basically have a guaranteed job in the sector. It's not like you are entering an oversaturated sector and just having to fight for like the smallest position. We have choice. We have an opportunity to look around, see what we like, and then make a choice.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you go into like other sectors, like I don't know which sector's oversaturated right now because there's a labor shortage everywhere. But if it's oversaturated, you have to go basically accept the lowest pay, accept every position you can get.
I'm so curious where all those people went.
Well, the thing is also, like, they say there's a labor shortage. I find it harder and harder to believe, considering if you apply for a job and send out emails to companies, those companies are just not likely to respond at all. Like, I get it, an email might get buried between other emails, and calling is the best option. But just sending out an email should already get a response, even if it's the response of, sorry, not interested. Like, just, we're sorry, we're not currently hiring, but we appreciate your application. That would be enough. That would be like, I would see that email, be like, all right, on to the next company. But you can send out 10 emails and get no responses at all, which makes me think that the labor shortage is kind of non-existent, considering they're saying we're screaming for more people to apply, but once they apply, we're going to ignore them and be picky. And of course, as I previously stated, you have to be picky, otherwise you're gonna get a bunch of employees that don't do anything. But you can at least ask them to come by the company, to have a chat with them, to see if they're motivated to work. And if they already show a lack of motivation, then you can say no. And if they do show motivation, here in the Netherlands, you when you apply for a job, you always have a 2-month sort of grace period where you can easily say, I don't like this job actually, I'm leaving. so you have a little bit of a period to kind of test if the company is right for you.
Yeah.
So that does exist, but why not use that? I mean, of course, you can have employees given us 2 months of being motivated for 2 months, then the day after that period is over, immediately stop working. The problem with engineering is you can only pull it off for that long. Because then they'll be like, yeah, why isn't this product actually delivered? Then you start getting problems, then one company fires you, you go on to the next one. And if you keep getting fired, eventually you're gonna end up on a list. And I feel like companies do communicate, basically asking for, hey, can we get is this person right or not? You can have recommendations. And if they say, oh yeah, this employee is not good, they will only do work in the first couple of months and then immediately stop working, then they're not going to hire you and you won't be hired anywhere. So companies and employers do all have the safety nets to keep the good employees and get rid of the bad ones. But they're apparently too lazy to use them.
Oh yeah, why would you put in effort to?
To get more employees, since you desperately need them, apparently. I don't know. Yeah, the labor shortage kind of doesn't make sense to me anymore. It just seems like this double thing that is unnecessary. Although the company that I did my final internship at did kind of fall apart. Like, unless new people got into the they got like hired but not added to the group chat, because I only got removed like a couple months. I think I got removed last month from that group.
I mean, you could have
My
stepped
internship
out
ended in
yourself.
April. Yeah, but why would I? It's funny. But like and I did see before that 2 other employees left the group chat, which means they left the company. We were there with like 7 people. Which means that 3 have left, which means there are 4 people left. Like, that is not good for a company to only have 4 people left. If you... And the offices can fit easy like 15 or 20 people. Wait, am I thinking that correctly? You have 1, 2, another 2 there. You have 1 there, that's already 5, then 6, 7. 8, 9. Yeah, around 15 people could have fit in an office. And they have 4 people in there. And if they don't hire new people, then you're in trouble. So yeah, you can be very picky with who you want to hire. But eventually you're going to have to just try some people out. See if they're a good fit for your company. Like,
Yeah.
both parties have to come to each other. Like, they have to both show motivation. It has to go both ways. You cannot just have either the company going for people or just the people going for the company. Like, that's a combination you just can't do. Yeah, that's basically the company needs to be motivated to hire you, and you need to be motivated to work there. And apparently that's just not happening. But yeah, another rant about applying
Yeah,
for
so
jobs and just failing.
yeah, so coming back to the whole men-women thing,
Yeah.
What I just talked about is kind of the Dutch situation. I don't really know how that is in like other places.
I don't know either. Situations in other countries.
I do know there are jobs where like in other countries, women get paid more. Like I think in America, a female model will get paid more.
Yeah, but then you probably also have the thing of the so they often go from arts, because if you look at like hospitals and nurses, you're more often than not going to find female nurses than male nurses.
Yes.
Or like people working in planes with the catering, that's often women. It's basically the sector is basically where do you want to work, like what are you interested in, and you go for that. And you should not be stopped from going for your dreams if it's just because what is or what isn't in between your legs. Like that should not stop you from chasing your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
You should just go for them. Because, you know, you're here for a while. You might as well make something of it before your life is over and you're thinking like, what have I achieved? And you can write it on a small piece of paper. You know, you do have to actually make something of it, achieve something, do some dumb shit.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's the weirdest thing, like, let's go on a random day traveling across the country. Like, just do it. Of course, with the proper planning and the proper, you do need a little bit of income for that. Money can be a big hurdle for it. I know how that feels. When you want to do stuff, but you realize that the money isn't there. But if the money is there and the motivation is there and the opportunity is there, then it's just like go for it. Like don't let people hold you back. Of course, unless they have a solid reason. Because I can sometimes have very dumb ideas.
Yes.
So you do need a little bit of like a check to make sure that what you are going for is not going to be really inconvenient to deal with, or you know, just might even have a chance at ruining your own life. For example, don't go into major financial debt just for the fun of it.
What?
Because you will have to pay that back. But as long as you can kind of keep it within the realm of possibilities, and you really want to do it, just do it. And I don't know why I suddenly went to a big motivational rant about chasing your dreams. It's the Bushblade Ramblings. For visual, for the people that are actually looking at the screen currently, look at the wall, look at the text that's on there, saying we're not experts, but we're here. This is not the end of the episode, by the way.
No.
Not yet. I still have a little bit of a list to talk about. For example, a train explosion.
What? Joe, what did you
Near my
do?
hometown. Nothing, because I don't have my student travel card anymore. Oh, hold on. I might. Oh, I have to pause my game. I might be winning wireless headphones at an auction right now. Wireless earbuds. 3, 2, 1,
No, Joe.
0. Server check. Did I win it? Did I win? Did I win? Did I win? Did I win? Come on. Give me. Give me. Give me the win. I think I won. Yep, it's shut. Ha, got him.
There we go.
I got 200 euro earbuds for like 60.
I see.
Nice. But yeah, a train part in a train malfunction and caused an explosion basically.
Well, that's not good. Oh, wait! Is that the one where there was only one survivor or whatever? Or like one...
No, that was a plane crash. Where you had
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Now I'm confusing it with the movie.
It was a plane crash in India. This was just a. You did have 2 people being hospitalized due to smoke inhalation because there was smoke. But overall, everybody was safe, apart from those 2. And yeah, just one malfunctioning part. And that was basically an entire... Well, that train is going to at least have to be partially restored to working order. But, yeah, they can do that. I guess they do have facilities to do it. And they have more trains, so the only like real obstacle that there was really was the just the closure of the line. That's what happened. The line closed, the entire part closed for a bit, kind of show, or at least to have to let emergency services arrive and deal with the trouble. Just get things fixed again. Just so you can get everything back on track. For the pun. And get the traffic moving, get people where they need to go, because that's what trains are for. And I'm still of the opinion that we should add postal offices to train stations again, because I think they used to be there, so you can have a mail train that basically went to the station, dropped everything off, and then you can pick up your package at the train station. And I feel like we should do that again.
Okay.
Because that means you can have a lot less trucks on the road. You know? You don't need to go from big distribution center, like one for the entire country, to a smaller one for the region, to a van to bring it to your doorstep. You can basically go from big one, just send train basically to like the end station and like a border or a coast, or where basically rails stop, and then go from there with the basically with the they can use vans and other things for people that have low mobility. But if you're in a decently sized city, you can use those people basically for, like, you can hire just a couple of delivery drivers to drive for people that can't actually walk or get to the train station, or if they're too far away. And also means more rail traffic, which also means more jobs. You would get rid of some truck drivers, that would be the case. But you would get more rail traffic, more industry there, you would get more postal offices. getting stuff to go out is also a possibility. You know, you can have a lot of stuff. But yeah. That's basically the obligatory train rant or rambling. On to something else. Wait, I have a couple things, like I have 3 things. 2 of those are about the same thing, and the third one is something different. Do you want the sad one or the dumb one first?
Let's start with sad.
Well, it's sad, but also nobody passed away, luckily. But on a cruise, a Disney cruise, no big ship, I think a 5-year-old fell overboard. Which I don't know how you would do that, apart from just straight up climbing over the railing and just jumping. And
Wow.
accidentally fall off. Or at least I hope the design takes that into account, but...
Well, it is Disney.
Yeah. But eventually, her dad jumped after the kid. Kept her afloat, kept both of them afloat for 20 minutes, which 20 minutes is quite a long time. And yeah, they were rescued. I wonder what if there is going to be any legal thing for it, because are there gonna be legal problems for it? You know, you jump off a boat. Now you're gonna have to get an entire rescue operation set up in order to save the people. That costs money. And you know, I think the procedure is basically stopping the boat, or at least shoving it into reverse, or doing big circles, in order to kind of save some time, get boat going around, try to get a visual. But apparently, so I think there would be some cost to that, but I don't think you can basically blame anybody for them because it's a 5-year-old. Good luck blaming a 5-year-old for something. I mean, the only thing you can do is go after parents, but...
It's not that difficult, mate.
Yeah, of course, it's easy to blame, but legally, you can't really do a lot to a 5-year-old.
Well, it doesn't have to be legally, right?
I mean, it is Disney. That is true. But I would find it kind of absurd if they actually went and took legal action. I feel like they could only take legal action against the dad. And I would have a problem with that because the dad jumped off a boat himself to try and save his own kid. And as we all know, trying to save your own kid is kind of what you do. You save your own child from danger.
You should just have stood by and laughed.
I mean, if it's just if words are difficult, it's too hard.
Yeah.
But if you have, you know, let's say you're at a restaurant, and especially if you're a man, like, we might not like it, but if a child is running around and trips, that is funny. We might not like it, but it's just how that is. That's just how it works. It's just funnier. But yeah, that one being done, I have 2 things that are both about a war that has been going on for over 3 years now. I think I talk about this every week about the war in Ukraine.
Perhaps, yeah.
But this time, it's even funnier. Because Russia has already used them, but are now really starting to rely on them. The T-62 tank. A tank that originated from the 1960s. It is a 60-year-old tank that they're relying on.
Let's see the problem.
Because the first is the T-72, which is like the next version basically. But that already, they've already depleted that stockpile of tanks from the 70s. So I feel like if this war is gonna go on, we are actually going to see T-34s being used in war. World War II tanks being used in modern war.
I mean...
It's basically already known that Russia's kind of done already. Also mainly because Ukraine made a deal with both the United Kingdom and the Netherlands for drones.
Oh.
Because warfare has changed over time. Instead of being one with who has the biggest army, it is who has the most drones. Or the cheapest ones, or can mass manufacture them. Because as soon as you can mass produce drones, then you're good. The worst part is the FPV drones, so first-person view drones. So just wear VR goggles and go. Those ones. They are surprisingly deadly, because what they do is they just mount explosives to them. Now, I'm not saying that you should do it at home. Actually, you shouldn't. It is dangerous.
But we are saying if you do it, it's probably fun.
If you do it, you better do it in Ukraine. Because, you know, that's where they're already doing it. Yeah, I saw a video about that, about those drones, and it is still incredibly funny to hear English people speak Dutch names.
Yeah.
Dick Skoof.
Yes. Well, they can immediately forget that one, apparently.
Yeah, they can already forget that one, considering our government has already fallen a while ago, and in October, well, you can forget it from October onwards.
Wait.
Because the new elections aren't going to be until October. Because for some reason we have to wait half a year for new elections. Yay. It does get me curious, like, what political parties are gonna come out on top this time? Is it gonna be the same one as before? A right-wing party? Or is it gonna be a more left party? Also, speaking of, right? I think in New York City they are going for a new mayor, maybe. And that politician is on the left wing, basically. Not And Fox News, a right-wing news like place, they do television, they do, I think, newspapers, everything. They're immediately jumping on the communism bandwagon. Or no, not. But they don't say communism, it's socialism. But they do still mean communism. They just rephrase it a little bit so so people are more likely to vote against them. And that's funny to me. Like, then they put like a list of what each side wants, and on like, unless you have like basically free public transport, like free buses, more mental health awareness, a lot of just basically non-stop good things, and they try to frame that as bad. Like they try to frame better attention to mental health as bad.
Let me guess, specifically for men.
Probably, but hey, it's no longer meant from Dave recording, which is the 1st of July. It is no longer Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Oh yay,
So,
we're allowed to be depressed again.
No, it's more likely yay, or like yay, they're not noticing our depression anymore. As you know, depression doesn't just go away.
I went the wrong way.
But now they're just no longer aware of it. They can ignore it. Same as Pride Month. Wait, actually, I have to look this up. How many companies have already changed their logo back to monochrome colors?
Probably just all of them.
Yeah, because Pride Month is over. So that means that there's... Are they playing music outside? No. I thought I heard something outside because my window is open. Is it open actually? Yeah, it is, to try and alleviate some of the temperature, because right now outside it is a blistering 35 degrees.
Yeah, I know. Tomorrow it's gonna cool down a little bit, and then the day after it's gonna cool down even more.
And it starts raining. That's gonna hang around 20 degrees.
Yeah, I hope I have a car.
Why?
Because it's gonna thunderstorm at the time that I have to go home.
And you're going home anyway, so...
Yeah, but I don't really like my bicycle in a thunderstorm.
Yeah, I guess so. Like the rain should not matter at all, because you're gonna go home. You can get soaking wet and then just get home, take a shower, put on some fresh clothes, and be done. That does not matter at all.
Yeah.
But in a thunderstorm, I can kind of understand. And I mean, if I get a job, I don't actually know where I could get a job. Like, the only thing we talked about, which is confirmed, is a company that does the cables for wind farms. Because those cables are thick. It's not like your average phone charger size. So those thick cables have to be laid. If I get to do it, I get to do offshore yet again. For some reason, all I've done with my internship is learn how to weld. And did things that involved water. 2 of them involved some sort of offshore. 1 of them involved yachts. So, yeah. I guess I'm just destined to work with water.
I work with water.
I work with fish. Your work is specifically involving itself with the flow of fish.
Well, no, actually. The bigger selling point is that they're just the most efficient.
They've done enough screwing around with pumps to know.
Yes, exactly.
To know how screw pumps work.
Yeah.
Even this temperature, I will still make bad puns. You will never get rid of them. And also, quick side note for the gamers out there. There is the Steam Summer Sale.
Yeah. So, um,
Time to purchase games.
buy Oxytone now.
Only if your wallet allows for it.
You could pay €1.
Some people can't.
Well,
Like you don't want to have an extra bit of month at the end of your salary. What you do want is an extra bit of salary at the end of your month. But some people don't have that luxury and don't have that luxury. You know, we do have that luxury, but not a lot of people have that.
why did it go this way?
And it is basically kind of the perfect position for a job would be that you get so much money that you still have to think like, can I make this big purchase? If we're talking about like things that are like 1,000 or higher in whatever currency you want. But smaller purchases are like, oh yeah, I can purchase that one. Like games that are $50, like, oh yeah, I want that. And then you can actually purchase it.
Yeah.
You want to have enough money for your lifestyle.
Well, but sometimes, sure, there's something more important than your lifestyle.
And that is more money.
More video games.
If that is part of your lifestyle, then I mean, then if it is your lifestyle playing games, then yeah. Like my Steam library is kind of long.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are just a lot of games on sale right now. I would, as a recommendations, I would just go for games that kind of have a bigger sale. Like go for as much money saved as much money saved. If you just see a 10% sale, don't go for that one. Go for like the 90% sale. Where things are like 70% off. I am not spending $5 on a Car Mechanic Simulator 2021
Why not?
thing. Because I'm not.
Seems like a perfect deal.
I don't know if I have that game installed even right now. Like why would I get stuff for a game I don't have installed? Yeah, I don't even have it installed, then why would I get a DLC for it?
Because you've been waiting for it for 2 years.
No. I thought I recognized... Wait... Huh. I thought I recognized a Volkswagen. It's also still something that slightly annoys me from the game... Wait, for the game Forza Horizon 5, I think. Or no, not Forza Horizon 5. That's I lost my train of thought, but I regained it from the subreddit r/what is this car, which is a subreddit for people that are like not car nerds, but saw a weird looking car and are wondering what model is it? You know, what car? Basically the question: what car am I looking at right now? And a lot of them are the same car. Like you see a lot of Volkswagen Carmen Gias that just they look kind of exotic, and they can be quite old, and they look good, but you don't often see one. Like if you see a Beetle, everybody knows what a Beetle looks like. A lot of people have seen Herbie, so they know it.
Fair,
And
yeah.
also, the Beetle had major cultural impact. Apart from the new one, with the little vase that's actually in there. So yeah, that's it's a bit. It's a bit of a double thing. Wow, I did really luck out with those earbuds. Huh. I guess I got lucky. Well, are they? Is that one? Hold on. Is that one still open? No, it isn't. It's already closed. I think I saw like the Witcher on Switch.
Oh. Well, I already have The Witcher.
Yeah, but you have it on the Nintendo Switch.
I don't need it on the Switch.
Well, you can.
Yeah, but I don't need it on Nintendo Switch. Like, I haven't even... I should really continue that game at some point.
I don't need watches because I already have one watch. I still find it funny how you can spend like thousands upon thousands on a watch. And then I come along with my Casio F91W
Yeah.
with a battery that lasts over 12 years. It just does not die. Like it's a watch that costs like 20 euros. It's incredibly cheap. So you think like, why not? Like I got it when I was a kid because, well, you're not buying like a multiple €100 watch for a small kid. That's just waiting for it to break, or get abandoned, or be sold. But like a 20 € one, you can then, teach them time easier because we'll just them to wear the watch. But I basically started wearing that watch, and I started continuing wearing them, and I'm still wearing it, and it has been serving me for quite a long time now. As Jim, you missed one.
I know. But I'm gonna go back down anyway.
Oh yeah.
Ah!
But yeah, if you want to watch that is cheap and just pretty much lasting forever, Casio is your brand. You know the calculator brand?
Not
You go to for your
sponsored.
No, but just as a sort of product review of the entire brand. Brand review. If you actually, we should do that. We should do reviews like that because we are both honest people. Like we will be just like Yeah, it does work, but it has its flaw. It has a big flaw in it that. Although I did see a video recently about people reviewing air filters, like independent, and then they got sued by the company that they were reviewing the products from. All because they did an honest review with some negative things in it.
Yeah,
Because, well, it's an
that's
honest review.
allowed.
Yeah, but apparently people are suing it are suing people for that, and that costs a lot of money. And yeah, like honest reviews are the best reviews. There should be some negative things about it, or some things that can be seen as negative parts. Like, for example, my watch. It like the actual watch itself goes for a long time, but it did wear through the wristband, and that's yeah. And also the light is weak. Like it has a light in it because it's a digital watch, so it has to have a little bit of a light,
Yeah.
and that is weak. You can basically only make out the hours and the first digit of the minutes. And maybe you can maybe see all of the minutes if you're lucky. And also the alarm beeps every hour if you set an alarm on that watch, because it does have an alarm and a stopwatch function. And I use the stopwatch function to time the unwrapping of a gift, because I spent 5 hours wrapping a gift for a friend, and it took my friend 11 minutes and 11 seconds to unwrap the gift.
Wait, you mean me?
No.
Oh.
I didn't spend 5 hours. We didn't spend 5 hours on that.
Oh.
I did spend almost $50 on it though. Like I went to the store called Action, which is in multiple countries. So yeah, I basically went to the tape, grabbed almost 2 rolls of every type of tape, grabbed some aluminium foil, some cling film, rope, wrapping stuff, just every little thing you can get as a layer put in. I even got some of the windows, some of the window stuff. You put on like a window to stop it from being entirely see-through. I put some of that stuff on. That's a good Jim.
You mean like the, what's it called? Like the opaque stuff?
Yes.
Why?
Apparently, that shit is really difficult to cut, so it's perfect for wrapping gifts into. But you know whose birthday is coming up in like a month?
Yeah, I do.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
What do we put in it though?
Not the gift. And we just have the gift wrapped in only a couple of layers behind our backs.
No, that's mean. There should be something in there, like Tic Tacs.
No, just a little piece of paper that says surprise.
You got scammed.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Oh, I have a bad idea. That does require some engineering. A switch, like on the box, or like something that detects that it's being opened, connected to a speaker that automatically plays "Never Gonna Give You Up." So as soon as you spend all of that time ripping open layers of wrapping of different material, all you get is Rickroll, then you get the gift handed to you. To me, that's just funny. Also, don't forget rope.
Rope?
Like the couple, like this is just a tip for if you're trying to
I don't think
annoy a
he's.
friend
I
with
don't
a-
think he's into that stuff.
No, but I'm just talking about wrapping the gift. If you want if you want to annoy friends with a annoyingly wrapped gift, like in a lot of material, go for that window stuff that I already talked about. The opaque stuff that you put on your window. Aluminium foil, because you can't really cut through that easily with like a knife. Cling film is also a good one. Rope is also decent, and yeah. Don't forget bubble wrap. A couple rolls of bubble wrap also need to be used for that. This is bubble wrap. And also, we should get something fragile. Because that means that it has to be careful when unwrapping.
I mean, we could just say that it's fragile.
Yes, as long as it has to make sure that, as long as to be careful with unwrapping it, like just if you do it that way, it will take a really long time to unwrap, and it will be timing that as well. Yeah, I finally got the email like half an hour later that I won the auction. And yeah, I did. Also, I haven't talked about this yet here, but my bike broke.
Yes.
Like, first the chain fell off. Well, that's just pretty much a normal thing in the Netherlands, like, or anywhere else, basically. Like, your chain falls off your bike, no big deal at all. Just put it back on and you're fine. But I also noticed that the tension on my chain was too low. It was not properly tensioned, which means that it can easily fall off one or both sprockets. So I went to, so there were two screws at the, like hex screws at the end of, like on the back of my frame, connect to the rear tire. So as you tighten the screws, you push the wheel backwards. On one side it went well. On the other side, I stripped the aluminium bracket. Like I stripped the thread right out of it. Which meant my rear wheel went to one side rubbing against the fender, and that basically meant my bike was done. My bike was already on its last legs, or last tires, so it's just time to get a new one anyway. So I did have to give my bike, so I ordered a new one. It is coming in on Thursday. And being without a bike, especially if you let's say you have to go to the dentist at 11, and the dentist is, let me quickly double check, is 2 kilometers away, and then that means you get to walk.
Yes.
And so I walked. And tomorrow I'm gonna walk to a new apartment, and that is 2.4 kilometers away. So I get to walk even more. Yay! I can't wait to get my bike.
Nice.
Like, I know it's a typical Dutch thing that you ride bicycles, but it is basically the perfect middle ground between a car and the distance you do with that, and walking. Like, you're not taking the car for like a 10-minute car ride. That's biking territory because that's probably like half an hour to an hour of walking, and that's a long distance, and you don't want that. So that's sort of the trouble that you're facing if you don't have a bike. You're gonna either have to get a car or walk. And in my case, when I don't have a car, I'm gonna have to do a lot of walking. Like a lot of walking. At least I don't have an internship, or I don't have my internship anymore where I have to actually like bike 12.5 kilometers, because they would take like over 2 hours of walking. Basically 3. Get towards a new apartment. The distance is 2.4 kilometers. It says 33 minutes worth of walking, but it assumes you're walking 4 kilometers per hour. Google Maps just assumes you're walking slow, which is understandable, because that means it actually calculates for the slower walkers, and you don't get complaints about, it said half an hour, why did it take me 40 minutes? Google Maps is playing it safe, but otherwise it would be a 7-minute car ride or a 9-minute bike ride. So the difference between a car and a bicycle is 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
For cars, you have to buy fuel, which means you're driving 2 kilometers, which means you might waste a couple euros on fuel. It's not like you're wasting a lot on fuel, but it's just, well, let's say your car does like does 10 liters or 10 kilometers per liter. You're driving 5. You're wasting half a liter of fuel. Assuming 1 liter is priced at 2 euros, you're wasting 1 euro by taking the car, and that is without the wear on the car itself. Like the car, like the tires, the engine, the suspension, all those things. What you could do is spend 2 minutes extra and take a little bit slower, like sacrifice 2 minutes. Instead, you have a bike which has as fuel either just you or you and electricity if you have an e-bike. But I'm just gonna assume not, because it's the safest bet. So you have just you as the engine, means that you can just use, like, as long as your legs are pushing, you are going forward. That's how that works.
Yes. There we go.
And bike parts are significantly cheaper than car parts.
They better be.
Yes. So you're wasting a lot less money on a lot of, like, you're saving a lot of money by sacrificing 2 minutes, and you get to do exercise, which means it's more healthy for you. You waste less money, you save more of the environment, so we won't be suffering from these temperatures as much. And overall, you're outside. You're just biking along. Also, I'm looking at Google Maps and I see a barber shop that is named Karen.
Why are you looking at Google Maps at a
Because I was
barber
looking
shop?
at Google. It was just on screen.
Right.
Eh. Yeah, also with the moving, painting is almost done. The floor is gonna come in, I think, it's gonna come in tomorrow, I think. Then it has to kind of, it has to just get used to all, like, the climate and everything. So it has to lay there for a bit, and then this on the 7th, we're gonna get the floor actually laid, and after that we can kind of prep things, move the small things, and then at some point one weekend in June or July actually, because June is already over, we are actually going to be moving ourselves. And then I'll be in a different place
Heaven?
with a slightly bigger room. And yes, I will drag you over here.
I'd rather
And you
not, because
can.
that's far, so dragging would be painful and tiresome.
I will simply tie you to the tow hook of a car and just drive to the place. No, I will get
As
you
long as
still
I'm
in the
at least
car.
on a skateboard, I can live with that.
Nope, on the floor. On the road. You're
Well,
gonna be dragging your ass over the road.
well, then I would die.
Probably.
I know, because Game Theory made an episode on that.
Yeah, it's just gonna be
Related
driving
to
you over.
Mario Kart. And Smash Bros. Actually, like, he made a sort of follow-up, because in Smash Bros. There's a move... There's a move where Ridley, like, can grab his enemy and drag them over the floor. But if you do that, there's certain stages that take place, because, you know, it's Smash Bros. It's just a combination of a bunch of different games, including racing games, where you actually, like, race on a platform that sort of races with the track underneath it.
Yeah.
But you can go on the track. And if he uses that move, he can keep up with the speed of the track. So, like, Game Theory, like, this was years ago. It might even be like 7 years ago. When did the Smash Ultimate release? I don't know. And they were just like, well, you know, this is. They were just gonna calculate what that would do if you got dragged over concrete like that.
Yeah, you're not gonna survive. Well, unless you have Heelys, then you will probably survive if you're standing.
Well, he drags them like laying down, so.
Yeah, then you're not doing that. But it will get you in the new apartment at some point. Because, you know. It's also next to a pretty big road. So it's a lot more reachable by car, and depending on the job I get, I'm gonna actually have to get a car. Like if it's too far by bike, I'm gonna have to get a car, like a small hatchback, and just send it. And if I have a car, then I can actually drive towards you and pick you up.
I forgot.
And then I can do a road trip. Has it actually got onto the web? Nope. I should probably take a look at that email at some point to see if the yeah.
There's so fucking many.
Wait, no, wait. I have to kind of look at my profile to. Oh yeah, they have my address already. Yep. That they already have my address, so I feel like I should just have to pay for it, and then it will get delivered to me because I am not buying from auctions halfway across the country anymore. I'm not doing that. I've learned my lesson from the train seats. I'm
Yeah,
not doing
fair
it
enough.
again. That's the same toolbox I currently have. I found the same toolbox. Oh, I do see curved monitors though.
That, we should probably also end the episode, by the way.
Yeah, we probably should, unless you have things to talk about or recent
Um,
news, stuff like that.
Honestly, even if I did, I want to open my door.
Hmm.
Because I am fucking dying.
Eh.
I am.
Yeah, the news is just a bunch of things about the heat.
Yeah.
Because, you know, people do start doing dumb shit to keep cool instead of just, you know, floating in their own sweat.
Yeah, well, did you know that, uh, that people drown because of ice cream?
How do you drown from ice cream?
No, it's a logistics joke. Because there's like a graph of like, oh, when do people buy more ice and when do people drown more often?
Oh, yeah, it's just information. It's
It's
just
like, you know, when it's hot, people
statistics.
go to swim and they buy ice
It's
cream.
manipulating statistics.
Yeah.
You find you're finding like correlations that don't exist. As your example is basically people buy more ice cream during higher temperatures, but a lot more people drown during higher temperatures. So
Yeah.
if you just have that information, you can say that, or you can basically when there's more ice cream being sold, more people drown, which makes you think that ice cream causes people to drown. Indeed. Which is kind of funny. But yeah, there is no new news. Nothing really. Yeah,
Alright.
there's nothing new.
Really?
Ha! You're one short.
Hold up. We're gonna end
So
the
you
episode on
really
that.
just want to get one more coin just to purchase a bench?
No, I don't have to purchase a bench. I want to purchase the train station.
Ah, trains.
Well,
Important.
it's not actually a train, but it functions the same.
Trains are important, you know? Because, well, they bring you from place to place for, well, depends on where you are, cheaper. Here in the Netherlands, it's probably
It's
not
this.
cheaper at all. But yeah.
It's not actually a train. It's, you know. But yeah. I think that's gonna be the end of the episode.
Yep, that leaves us with one thing to say.
Yes.
Well, another thing as well. Jim, please draw an air conditioning in this office.
Well,
We need air conditioning.
well, sure, you could just take your fucking suit off, like.
Wait, you can do the same thing.
Unfortunately,
You can even
if I do that, it doesn't actually help.
yes, but you can even do it above my sign, just like in the corner of an air conditioning unit on the wall.
Yeah, no, the next thing I draw for this office should be a thumbnail.
Or a technical drawing for on the desk. No, wait, we could do a real technical drawing for that.
Alright.
Well, that does leave us with one thing.
Yeah.
We're not experts.
But we were here.